What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. Whole bunch of stuff to talk about today, including the Game Awards. They're tonight, and it looks like there's going to be some pretty interesting announcements, something we'll talk about a little later on in this video. But, of course, I will be streaming it, so make sure you come by. We'll start just before the Game Awards starts, around 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So come on by, we'll watch it, have some fun. And if you enjoyed the video today, give it a like. It really helps search algorithm and all that fun back-end stuff. But today, I got some stuff to talk about. Let's get started. Now, yesterday, I did play WWE 2K18 on the Nintendo Switch, pointed out that it's not at all done, almost. It feels like they just pushed the game out because it had to be out for the holidays, because they're not going to sell this game, guys, next Christmas, right? It's 2K18. You don't release a game in 2018, right? That's 2K, that's an 18 iteration of that series, because next year 2K19 will be out, I'm sure, and then the next year 2K20. But in this case, they had to get it out before the holidays, and it's not very good. If you missed that video, go check it out. It's in the card right up here. But it was not good. The frame rate was low. The visuals aren't very good. And overall, it's just it feels like an unfinished product. Well, after I put that video up, after I was done working on it, I noticed that the developers, or at least people reporting it, Blind Squirrel, who's working with 2K and WWE to get it done, said that they will be publishing patches and putting out different updates to try to fix these issues. So that still tells me that they were on a time crunch and had to get it out the door. I would wait. Seriously, I'll check out some of the updates if you guys want down the road as they come out to see if it's any better, but it's just not worth the $60 right now. I just want to put that out to you guys. But they will apparently try to fix it, so if you already bought it and you're not happy with it, at least look forward to that, I guess, because I did hear that things like NBA 2K18 had some issues with cutscenes, things like that, and they did fix it. So it is possible that they could work this out. It just feels like they had to get something out the door. I think the rushed launch and the randomness of the whole thing kind of speaks to the entire issue at hand here, which wasn't ready, but it had to go. Next up, let's talk about the Media Create sales numbers in Japan. We look at these pretty much every week because they're pretty much down to the unit, or at least as accurate as possible. And it's kind of interesting to see how things fluctuate throughout the weeks and the time that these games and systems are on the market. And we did have Xenoblade at this point. It did debut in Japan, so we had to look to see how that did. Surprisingly, it did not top the charts, although if you look at what did top the chart, you probably wouldn't be surprised because it was Pokemon. Here are the top 10 games right here, and yes, at the top, Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon are sitting at the top, 107,657. That means that the entire series is over 1 million. If you take the dual pack into consideration, it's well over 1 million at this point, just in Japan. It's pretty impressive. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, 97,732. That is the largest debut for Xenoblade in Japan. So yes, this was a very good launch for that series, and I'm very happy because I like the game despite some of its flaws, and I'm glad to see that it's doing well, because this means obviously we will see another version of Xenoblade in the future with the success of this one. Super Mario Odyssey still sticking in there at 61,596, coming up on 1 million, pretty close, 853,000 now total. Splatoon 2 now has just crossed the 1.4 million mark. That's a ton, 36,246. Kirby Battle Royale there at 3DS debuts at 28,023. Nobunaga's Ambition, interesting, on the PS4, debuts at 27,230. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe below that. Call of Duty World War II. Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing on the 3DS. Look at that. Jumps into the top 10 at number 9. And Zelda Breath of the Wild. You may wonder where Resident Evil Revelations sits. It sits down at number 14 on the Switch. 6,540. Quickly, let's jump over to the hardware numbers. The Switch did have a bit of a decline here, down to 124,770. That's still a lot of units to move in a week, but that is down from the massive amount from last week at 145,000. It's interesting it sold less this week, because that probably has to do with the shipments when Xenoblade was debuting. It's kind of odd. Below that, 3DS, 36,238. The PS4, that includes all the PS4s, just like the 3DS, includes all the different types of 3DS, 33,407. The Vita had a nice little bump up from 5,964 to 6,127, and the Xbox One also jumped 100 units up to 508, PS3 48, and the Wii U surprisingly still sells there at 45 units. So what does this tell us? Well, it tells us Xenoblade had a great debut, and that's awesome because, again, it's nice to see a JRPG. While it is in Japan, you'd expect it to do well. Not all JRPGs do well. Lost Sphere had a terrible debut, as we saw, and as I Am Setsuna, I don't think had a very good debut either. So it's not like every single JRPG is just an automatic win, an automatic smash hit. I mean, you could look down and see something like Nobunaga's Ambition, which is, it's not really a JRPG like that, but still, it's kind of an off-the-cuff style game. Although, look at it this way, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was set up to do well with the Switch because it's the next big release on the Switch. It released in December. Everybody's looking for something new to play, and this is a big game that's going to last quite a while. So I'm glad to see it do well, and I'm sure they're already getting ready to do something else in that series if they haven't already started, because we keep hearing rumblings of the creator would like to bring over Xenoblade Chronicles X or Xenoblade X. I see that happening because I just don't think enough people played it on the Wii U. I mean, a lot of people are buying the Switch that didn't have the Wii U, and that's going to be pretty much irrefutable when it passes the Wii U numbers. Could be the end of this year. It's crazy to think, but that could happen. Definitely by the end of the fiscal year. As for the Switch sales, strange, but I mean, it happens with shipments. Maybe a truck was not there in time or was late, or just they didn't have enough for that week to push more out than the week previous. I figured it would slowly ramp up. You know, each week would be more than the next. Now it's very interesting to see the following week if will start to drop down, because that'll be the first week in December when we should be in the holiday buying season. People are looking for these things like crazy. They should be flying off the shelves, and I completely expect Nintendo to provide as many units as possible right now. So we'll see what happens next week, but I would expect a minimum of 150,000 or more units for that week. Either way, 2 milestones were passed with these charts. The Switch passed 2.5 million units since it launched back in March, and the PS4, which obviously has been around for a little while in Japan, crossed 5.5 million. So big milestones there for both companies, Sony and Nintendo. Unfortunately, well, there's not much to talk about here. As you can see with the Xbox One, it's sitting around 84,000, but they are coming up on that 100,000 mark, so that's something. Next up, let's talk about Portal. I know everyone's super excited because a new Portal game is coming. Well, it's kind of happening. What's weird here is Valve is very comfortable. They have no reason to go out and make any more games because Steam makes them a ton of money. In fact, I think Steam is a bad thing for the game development side of Valve because they don't have to do it anymore, right? Dota seems to be like their big thing on Steam, and they have no real ambition to build a new Half-Life or even a new Portal, so we're probably not getting one. What we are getting here is an expansion to Bridge Constructor, which is very odd. It's a very odd pairing. I guess it kind of makes sense. You can use portals when you're designing your bridges or something. It's a very weird thing to see, but it's happening. It's coming out next year for all systems. This is the PS4, Xbox One, and the Switch. It's coming out December 20th for the PC, which also includes Linux and Mac OS, so that's kind of cool. As for the expansion in the game, I don't really know how this is going to work out, but hey, if you like Bridge Constructor or it looks really cool to you, there you go. If you're a fan of Portal, it'll be a part of it, so December 20th. Next up, let's talk about the Game Awards. That's later on tonight, like I said earlier, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 5:30 Pacific is when it starts. It'll be streaming. We'll be doing a stream here on the channel. But we've had a lot of build-up for this, and it seems like there's going to be some big announcements, some stuff we don't know about, and it's starting to kind of all come together here. Now, throughout the past couple of weeks, Jeff Keighley has really been talking about things on Twitter, and he recently showed up on the Reset Era forums and started, making these little gestures towards big AAA announcements, something big happening. So that's kind of cool. It sounds very interesting. And then all of a sudden, THQ Nordic shows up with this website that is pointing directly at the Game Awards with a countdown timer, with they're announcing something. Now, a lot of us are thinking, oh, maybe it's a Darksiders 3 promotion. Maybe it's a big trailer there. However, it's very odd because they're using a hashtag Endless Winter to push this. That doesn't really sound like something you would get from Darksiders 3. I could be wrong. It could be some part of the story we haven't seen yet. A lot of people are also calling to something from Titan Quest, since Gamefly did post a Titan Quest listing for all systems, including the Switch. So could that be it? Could it be a Titan Quest? Maybe they title it something with Winter and it has new expansion included with it for consoles? Or is this just some unknown thing? Maybe it really is a new IP. They did talk about a year or so ago. They had 13 unannounced games, THQ Nordic did, just in development. Maybe it's one of those. Now, Jeff has also done nothing but post basically all the people from Death Stranding coming together at this awards show. He talked about Hideo Kojima showing up, even in front of a door that saying, don't keep closed behind you, and he says secrets on Twitter. It's very odd. We also see, of course, Del Toro is going to be there to help show off a game or present an award, and then Norman Reedus also bringing all the people together essentially from Death Stranding to be on stage or in the same room at the same time. To me, that seems a little too convenient. I think we'll see something from Death Stranding, whether it's a big trailer or some big reveal. No release dates or anything. I'm not saying that. I don't think that game's gonna be done until like 2020 at this point. But I think it'll be one of the last games on the PS4. But what's cool about this is I think we'll get a little more, another piece to the puzzle, because there's so much stuff about that game we just don't know. But we do know that Kojima seems to have free reign over the creative direction of this game, and that's exciting to me, and I think a lot of others. Other than that, it's hard to say. We can talk about who's going to win what. I think most of us are really interested in what we will see there. Could Rocksteady, who's been doing nothing but talking about how they can't wait to show us what they're working on, how they're hiring up all these positions now, almost like they're ready to go with their project. Maybe they got their trailer ready to present and they're ready to really hit crunch time on it. It's hard to say. Maybe that's what we see. Maybe we see the Zelda DLC get finally unveiled there. There's a lot to talk about. It's going to be really fun. Just tune in tonight on the channel. Hit the subscribe button, notifications on, and it'll pop up when I start streaming. Next up, we have 18 Switch games out today. That's right, you heard me. 18 Switch games. There's some good ones in there too that I don't think a lot of people are aware of. I'm going to go ahead and just read them all off to you guys real quick. I'll hit you with a trailer from a couple of them, or one of them that looks pretty cool. So here we go. Let's get into these games real quick with this list. Human Fall Flat, Teslagrad actually looks kind of cool. Phantom Breaker, Battlegrounds Overdrive, Slain, Back from Hell, Vostok, Inc., Dimension Drive, Embers of Miram, Riptide GP, Renegade, which actually looks kind of like Wave Race almost, just a little more arcadey. I think that one is a mobile port though, to be honest with you. A Plantera Deluxe, Acorn Tactics, a Yodanji Red Game without a great name, the Sexy Brutale. Don't sleep on the Sexy Brutale. That is an awesome game. I would pick that up. It was really cool on Steam when I got it a while ago. Plague Road, Gunbird, Floor Kids. Actually, Gunbird's pretty fun too. I'm sorry, I'm just talking about how cool some of these games are. Floor Kids, Touch Battle Tank, SP, Top Hunter, Rhodey, and Kathy. That's actually a Neo Geo game. But wow, that's out of nowhere. The eShop is going to populate with a bunch of games. Again, though, don't sleep on the Sexy Brutale. That's a cool one. I want to kind of check out the Riptide game. I haven't really seen much about it, and it looks like it might be kind of a Wave Race type game, although, again, it is a port from the mobile side, so I'm not sure how great it'll look. But it's more about how it plays, of course. Then Gunbird looks kind of neat as well. But man, boom, tons of games right there for you. 18 of them, in fact. So if you save some money from WWE because you saw the video and how it was performing, there you go. Plenty of things to spend your $60 on. And in our last bit of news, let's talk about Sony kind of viewing Nintendo a little more like a competitor now, someone they actually have to worry about. And I think this happens when you start seeing the sales numbers in Japan start to mount, and it becomes pretty clear the Switch is going to chase down the PS4 probably by next year in Japan and pass it. I mean, then they're technically taking over their home country. I mean, Sony and Nintendo are based out of Japan. So it looks like they see them much more as a competitor, and I think next year is going to be a big year between the two big companies. And according to an interview with Nikki, you're going to see a little bit of worry in these words here. Again, there's an interview with Nikki from Kazuhiko Takeda. He's actually Sony's head of corporate planning, saying, "So it's possible Sony could exceed its profit forecast. At the moment, we can say with certainty that 630 billion yen is achievable. But even our strongest operations have issues to be tackled. Our greatest risk now is losing our intensity." And they ask what sort of issues, and the answer to that is, at our gaming business, sales of the PlayStation 4 are strong heading into the holidays, but we can't ignore the Nintendo Switch, which has also captured consumers' attention. Our business model involves selling both the game console and the software for it. So we're working to get more customers paying continuously for content, for example, through paid subscription services. So when I look at this, I see Sony saying, man, the Switch could start really pulling away from our business. And the reason that Sony has been doing so well recently is because they really don't have a competitor in the gaming space right now. I know people are going to say Microsoft, but look at the numbers between the games when they split. Final Fantasy 15, over 4.5 million on the PS4. Doesn't even break 1 million, or if it does, it was barely breaking 1 million with digital sales on the Xbox One. In Japan, there's no contest, but now here comes the Switch, and there's competition. And I think Sony sees that, and they're like, man, we need to start figuring something out. It seems like they more so want to expand their business with the paid online service, with the PlayStation Plus, maybe PlayStation Now. Maybe they start coming up with something similar to Microsoft's Game Pass. There's a lot of things they can do. Maybe they start bringing back more of the classics with PS2 and PS1 games, almost build their own virtual console, like really flesh it out. I know they have some, but they don't have a ton. So there's a lot they can do, but they definitely have now taken notice after the first 8 to 9 months of the Switch being out. It's not, they're paying attention. That's what I'm going to say. They're a little concerned here, okay? The PS4 is doing well now, but in a year, is it going to be as easy to sell some of these third-party games when the Switch well, it's out there. There's a ton of them now, and it gives them really the ability to play on the go and at home. It's going to be interesting to see, but it's going to be really fun because we're getting back to Sony versus Nintendo, which is a rivalry I really like to see because it's two Japanese companies going at it, but I think either side has the ability to put out a massive, awesome experience in a game at any time. So I'm so looking forward to this competition going forward. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for Newswave today. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. Guys, let me know about any of the stuff we talked about today, specifically the Game Awards tonight. What do you think is going to be shown? Do you think we're going to see the Zelda DLC that we've been waiting for forever? Do you think there's some big new game announcement from THQ Nordic that's not like, say, Darksiders or Titan Quest, something completely different? And do you think like Rocksteady or any other company is going to show up there? I mean, really anything could be happen, right? And also let me know what you think, well, about the Media Create sales, of course, this bridge constructor thing that's happening here, and then, of course, Sony versus Nintendo, because I think next year, guys, that's going to be the big competition between the two. I hate to say it, I just think Microsoft is going to be left out of it a little bit. But thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time.